Hello and welcome to a new video tutorial by Anna von Lucy Paper Crafts. I'm Anna, and on today's Thursday treat video I have this little box here for you. It has some individually wrapped tea bags inside. It's some chamomile tea, and I thought this designer series paper is just so pretty, and you know, these kind of look like chamomile flowers, and yeah, and I also wanted to make a project that uses the Feel Better Friend sentiment from our brand new hand pen petals stamp set. So let's just go ahead and I'll show you how to make these. It's actually not too complicated. So what we're going to need besides our stamps, of course, let me put that aside. So we're going to need some cardstock, and I decided I'll just change up the color a little bit for this one. So here I have the mint macaron, that's also in the designer series paper. So this one is cut by 4" by 7.5. So we're gonna make our box like this here in a minute. And then we're gonna need some designer series paper that is 3" by also 7.5. Okay. And then we're gonna need a little bit of basic white just to stamp. And then we're gonna need a little bit of mint macaron cardstock, and I don't know, let's see, yeah. So this one is just 2.5", which is the size of the box, and then just 1", and it's scored in the middle. All right. So, and we're gonna do a little bit of die cutting. This is actually gonna cover up our designer series paper edge over here and just kind of make it a nice decorative border. Okay, so those are the pieces we're gonna need. Let's go ahead, put these aside, and we're gonna do some scoring. Okay, let me grab my paper trimmer here. Let's see how I can get this into the camera so you guys can see as well. I think that'd be good. Okay, so first thing we're gonna do is we're going to score our bottom here. Okay, so we're going to put up the 4" side, and oh, I have some sweaty hands here, leaving some marks on my paper. So, and we're going to score it at 1", and I put it over here because that's easier to just kind of line it up. So other way around would be lining it up here at 3". Okay, so just 1", and then we're going to flip it around clockwise, and we're going to score it at 1/2". Okay, then we're going to move it forward to 1.5. So we just created our adhesive strip right there. Now we're going to make a side. Now for the front, we're going to move it over to 4". And then we're going to score it again at 5. Okay, so that's, I don't know if you guys can see. So 1", 1.5, then at 4 and at 5. Okay, and our box is 2.5 by 2. Okay, and then technically by 3". Okay, and we're going to go ahead and do the same thing pretty much with our designer series paper. So you want to make sure that the 7.5" is this way. Okay, and this is also the reason, you know, the way I designed the boxes, I didn't want my flowers to you know, be upside down, even if it's on the back side of the box. I just don't like that. So I came up with a way to you know, make sure that my flowers are not upside down or anything. So anyways, if you have a specific pattern, make sure that it's you know, all the way this way, and then this is the top and this is the bottom. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing. Oh, we're actually just going to score it at 1/2", just to give us a start, and then the rest we're going to do by hand. Okay, so just 1/2" here. So again, that's going to be our flap. And then if you haven't done that, I like to if I just have like 1/2", and you know, just a tiny piece of cardstock, I like to put the longer piece in, score it where I need it, especially if it's just half an inch or a quarter of an inch or something, and then I cut it off. So that's why this is already scored. All right, this is all the scoring we're gonna need. Now we're gonna use our scissors here, our paper snips, and this will, as usual, I mean, if you put together some boxes, you kind of know what to do. So we're going to snip at an angle here, okay, and this one is coming off completely. Okay, so like this. And now these small 1-inch ones are gonna be some more adhesive flaps. So I'm just gonna keep these straight. Of course you could do that in an angle too. I just like it better, you know, even though most people don't look at the bottom of a box, at least I don't, especially if it's, you know, somebody gave it to me. So this one we're going to cut at an angle again, on the other side too, and then cutting into the score line here. Okay, so like this. So, and this is pretty much all the scraps we're going to have. Okay, so now we can put together our box. If you wanted to, you could stamp it now, but we don't really have that flower, I don't think so, in the stamp set, so I'll just leave it as it is. Okay, and I'm not even using a bone folder because it's not, well, maybe on this. She says one thing and then she does another. So now we're going to use our tear and tape. I just love using this for boxes because it's a very strong adhesive. And let me get my somewhat gross silicone sheet here, so I'm not messing with my grid paper here. So I'm just going to put some tear and tape right here, just using my very sharp ruler edge there. Okay, so and now here is something, just a little bit of a tip, with this flap here, line up your tear and tape. Oh, let's see, if it's kind of tricky because it's a very light color. So anyways, just line it up. Let's see, is the camera gonna pick it up? Maybe I'm too close. Anyways, so line it up here with your edge, okay, because we're going to close the box like this. So to get the most adhesive on there, or the best closure for the box, just put it right here on the edge. Okay, so, and then we can put a little bit of adhesive on our flaps here. Now let's see, just gonna put it right there. It's not too important where you put it. Okay, like this. Just make sure that you push it down. So I'm gonna take that off. If you have a little bit of excess here, just fold it over. And now we're just gonna line this up. Okay, so let's use the bone folder for that. Just kind of push it down. Okay, so that's that. And now, if you're new to box making, so this would be your back, okay, the back of your box, because here is where we have our adhesive strip. So we're going to make our box as stable as possible, which means that these are both the same flaps technically, but this is the one on the back. So to make it more stable, we're going to put this one in first, and then the front one we're going to put in second, because that way you also get a nicer seam at least from the front. Okay, so let's see here. We're going to take those off. Okay, now here comes the tricky part. Let's see, make sure. So this is our back. This is the tricky part, and that's why I like to keep the big flap straight. It just makes it easier to line up my box so it's not all crooked. Okay, and let's just see here. I'm just going to use, oops, stamp falling off of that. I'll just use my block here. Okay, to push it down, and now we can put some adhesive on here, and here we're going to do it the other way around. Here we're actually going to line it up with the edge of it. Yeah, oops, like that. Even on a humid, hot summer, early summer day, the sticky tape, the turn tape is holding up. It's sticking to everything. Okay, so that's that. And you can use your bone folder to kind of run over it. Okay, so let's see if our tee fits. I'm going to put it into our box here. Very snug. Okay, but that's what I wanted. I didn't want it to be able to fall out or anything, so and we'll just leave it in there for some weight. That's just going to help with putting the lid on now. Okay, so now onto our lid. Let me just get a little bit of stuff out of the way. So now here's our lid, or at least for the most part. So now this time we're gonna do, we have our adhesive flap here. Okay, oops, I'm gonna grab this again. And again, we're going to line it up on the edge, not on the inside. And you'll understand in a few seconds why. Okay. Like that. Okay, so don't take off the back sheet yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to use our box here, and here's our back. That's where our adhesive flap is, and we're going to put it right there. As you can see, it's also 3-inch, just like our box, and we're going to wrap it around, because it's always tricky to make your lid go perfectly over your box, you know, the bottom of your box, if that makes sense. So this way, we're just going to wrap it around. Okay, so just make sure that your flap, that's why that's the only one we scored. So, and this way we can make sure it's really a nice snug fit. Otherwise you would have to deal with kind of weird, you know, I don't know, a 1/16 of an inch measurement. So we're just going to use this step by step, and we're going to pinch our paper a little bit just on the bottom part here. Okay, as we go around, just make sure it's lined up nicely. Okay, and we're coming together at the end. And now here you can see, even though it's the same length, you know, the wrap is a little bit shorter. My camera is not like, oh, there we go. So you see, that's why we were lining up the tear and tape here and not on, like with, actually with a cut edge and not with the scored edge. Okay, so, all right, if you feel like you pinched your paper well enough, you can go ahead and just use those. Now, if you wanted to, you can give it a light. Don't be too hard on your designer series paper. It is a little bit sensitive compared to our cardstock. So, all right, and then the last one. And this is just a practice thing, you know. The more boxes you make, the better you're going to get at this. All right, so now we can take off our backing sheet here. And again, the same thing should work out. Just make sure you line it up nicely since we didn't score it. Okay, and again, now you can see, let me pull that up again. So here's our score line, and there's like 1/8 of an inch, I want to say, of a difference. Okay, all right, so this is our lid. Well, looks kind of weird, right? So we're going to take our box. There's our back, and let's hope it fits. It should. Okay, perfect. So what we're going to do now is pull it up, and as you can see now, there's no upside down flowers. And I love that these are like the majority of my chamomile flowers are actually in the front. Yay! So I'm pulling it to about, well, I want to say like the box, so like this, maybe 1.5. Let's see. And you can do it any way you like. Okay. So like this. So just get it in the right spot, and now we're going to pinch it together. Okay. Like this. Okay, and everything else should pretty much bend into shape, so we didn't have to do any extra scoring. Okay, so like this. That's our box. So, well, that's still not closed. So, let's close up our box, and I'm going to bring in the die set matching our hand pan petals. And there's a beautiful border right here, and we're going to use that. Let me get this out of the way here for a second. So, we're going to put our box in here. So now we're going to line up our scalloped edge here on the outside. Okay, so it's not, with the size of the box, it's not 100% even. So I'm just going to use some washi tape to put it in place, because unfortunately we don't have, not at the moment, we do not have a magnetic plate for our small Stampin' Cut embossing machine. Stampin' Cut embossing machine. So we're just going to run it through, making the camera shake. Okay, so there's a tiny bit more scrap that we created. Now if you're using washi tape, just carefully pull that up. And we're going to do that on the other side as well. Lining it up, preferably, you know, in the same spot. So kind of leaving a little bit off on that scalloped there. Okay. And back through our die cutting machine. Ooh. Oh, I'm just messing with my paper here, but that's okay. Cost of doing business, paper crafting business. Okay. And now, again, just carefully, because even though it's washi tape, running it through the die cutting machine creates a lot of pressure on there. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to tape my paper back into place here. Okay, so this is our piece now, and hopefully we didn't lose the score line, so we can just line these up again. Okay, use our bone folder. Okay. So now we're going to use our tear and tape again and our silicone craft sheet. Just makes it easier. Where's my beginning here? Beginning and okay. And now we're going to put it right in the middle on the inside. Just right over our score line there. Okay. You might want to fold it again. This little piece of cardstock is taking a lot of work, but it's so worth it, and it's just nice. So just get your backing off. So now to close our box, we're just gonna, if you have a nice front or one that you like more than the other, just decide. Now I'm gonna go with this one here, and we're just going to pinch this together, and we're just going to line it up on both sides and fold it over and just adhere to our box, and that closes our lid. I'll show you in a second. All right, so and that's how we get this beautiful nice border up there. Gosh, really, my camera. Oh, there we go. That's so pretty, don't you think? All right, now last thing, like I said, we're gonna need a little bit of a scrap paper here, and we're gonna finally do some stamping. Okay, so let me bring that in. So I got some Memento ink here, and then some Daffodil Delight, and I picked this little filling stamp here, this one. Okay, so and here's my scrap paper, and I'm going to use this filling stamp, ink it up, stamp it off, and then stamp it on my paper. Okay, and if you have some weird, like sometimes with photopolymer you have this effect, I want to show you because it happens even to the best of us. Does it pick up? No, it's probably too much white in there. Yeah, so anyway, some weird edges right there. So we're just going to do it again until we like it. Okay. Might just be me, not, you want to, if you do second generation stamping, that's what it's called, make sure you apply even pressure. Like I said, especially with photopolymer. So that looks nicer. And we're going to get this out of the way, just so I don't get inky fingers. We don't want that Daffodil Delight all over. Okay, inking up our sentiment. And we're going to stamp right onto that. Okay, give it a second. All right. And that's just creating a little bit of a fun background to our sentiment. Okay. And I picked, whoosh, where is it? I got this little die here. It's from our Tasteful Labels dies. It's that small circle that's creating this really beautiful embossed edge. So we're just going to take our paper, bring in the die cutting machine again, our mini-me die cutting machine. Okay, and again I'm just using some washi tape to line it up, and it should fit perfectly into this. Okay. Gonna push that in a little bit. Ugh, I'm using my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss quite a bit, so my plates are quite bent today. All right, so let's get that out of the way. And look, just a beautiful little sentiment with that flower. There we go. So now with this one, I used our pool party ribbon, pool party sheer ribbon, but I thought since I'm using a different cardstock as well, so this was garden green, this is mint macaroon. Let's just use it's actually the bumblebee gingham ribbon, but I thought it looks nice as well. So let's see, whew, wish me luck that I can tie a nice bow on camera right away. Okay, without destroying the box. And I always forget which way do I want to go with this. I want to go the other way around, but that's okay. I'll show you a little trick there too. Kind of lost my grip here. My goodness, I might have to edit this part. This is just ridiculous. She can't tie a bow anymore. I'm telling you, it's not my favorite part. I'm not the worst in tying bows, but it's just not my favorite part with any project. All right. So, just gonna pull that a little bit there. Now, I don't want the ribbon to take away too much because it's quite, well, compared to the rest of the box, it is a little bit flashy, you know, with that bright bumblebee color. I love this gingham ribbon. It's just so fun and pretty. So, where's my scissors? There we go. Just trimming that down a little bit. So now, if you feel like your ribbon is in the wrong place, you know, facing the wrong, the bunny ears are facing the wrong direction, well, what do? You flip it around. Hold on. Is it? Yeah. Oh, wait. I wanted it on the left side. Okay, so like this. You might have to still pull it a little bit in the right direction, but at least you don't have to start all over again. I might do it anyway because this is driving me nuts. Okay, can you tell? I can get lost in tying bows. That's why I don't like doing that on camera too much. So, all right, that's that. And now we're going to use some dimensionals. Last step for today. So let's see, there's our top, and then the other one goes down here at the bottom. Okay, taking over sheet. So you want to get your ribbon probably in the right spot right now. So, because we're going to secure it a little bit with our dimensional here. Okay. So, making sure our sentiment is straight. All right. And there we go. That's our second box, or our second color version. And yeah, so here's the garden green and the pool party sheer ribbon, and here's our mint macaroon with the bumblebee gingham ribbon. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please leave me a subscription if you enjoy my tutorials. I'd be happy to have you as a subscriber, and of course you can always hit that little bell on YouTube to get notifications whenever I upload a new video. If you have any questions about this project, I'll also share a link in the description down below with the measurements and the supplies I used. And yeah, please leave me a comment letting me know which color combination you like more, the garden green and the pool party, or the mint macaroon with the bumblebee gingham ribbon. I like both. So yeah, that's our Thursday treat, and I'll see you next week. Bye!